We would be like the, at least with the review integration, like the Apple product.
Right,
Like
right.
all integrated with the hardware and software all together, right?
Yeah,
And
all
so,
designed from the ground up to work together for maximum effect.
Good, I liked that a lot. That was very smooth.
Yeah.
So when it gets built like this, so if you slap on the review stuff to the crappy template that you have that nobody did content that nobody ever works on, which is what 98% of everybody has, 99%,
Yeah.
then it's not integrated. So the software is hovering on top of it as a poor afterthought, right?
And while it is better than nothing,
Right.
it's not much better.
It's not much better because really all that can happen is that somebody in the office now, you have a receptionist that sits there and doesn't do enough in your opinion, and you have him or her make callbacks to your clients and enter their cell phone and emails. And you're like, I'm doing that part, I've done it. And so, and you get
I've done everything I can
You get
do.
a few more reviews. But had the software been an original part inside, then all the shortcode would have been listed on the service pages and the city pages. And oops, if you had someone quality do it, they would have had a lot of service pages for all your different services so that you could have the chance to show up for the keyword and organic ranking and mapping. It expands the mapping amount to show up because they're not going to show you if you don't have page content for it. Hey there guys, it's Nolan and Jason here.
Howdy.
We've got a topic today that's going to be pretty cool called the coolest review software ever.
And it is.
It's the coolest review software. And I guess we need to go in not only what this stuff does, but why people need it today. You
Right.
know? And I'll start by, let's start by why people need it before we actually get into it. So if somebody has reviews already, why would they need software, right? Or what's the big deal if they're getting them? So first I'd say, and I know that when we went to one of the meetings, they had discussed literally the biggest metric for getting reviews is human being one-on-one asking.
Right.
So someone in front. So let's say somebody already does that. Well, I already do that, you know.
And that's good if you do.
Yeah, if you do it. Now, if you don't do it, it should probably be the number one thing you add into your mix of things you do. It's like everybody in the office that goes out on a field or whatever is required to ask the customer for review, like a little heartfelt say, hey, thanks, you did a great job. Hey, I appreciate it if you could give us a review, it'd really help us out.
Right.
And then a certain amount of people won't ever leave one. Now, if you don't have more than 1 out of 10 doing it, you're just asking them wrong. Right? Because I've done it enough. You're just not doing it right. I do have some people say, well, I ask everybody, I don't get any. It's like, well, you're not asking right.
Yeah, then you need to examine.
You need to
yourself.
What you're doing.
Check yourself.
Yeah. Don't wreck yourself. Anyway, so. Yeah, my kids would this would be very
cringing
very
right
cringy
now.
on that.
Oh my God,
weirded out.
My kid's only 4, so he doesn't.
Yeah, they would freak.
He's
out.
not embarrassed by me yet. It's pretty cool.
10, 20-year-old pop culture references. That's worse. That's older than that. Check yourself. What did that even come from?
I don't even know. I remember it showing up in
That's
the
hip-hop pop
Hangover,
culture from
but
like 20 years ago.
Yeah, the guy in the Hangover was actually using an old reference and looking uncool as a result.
That was the idiot.
So,
what is that? Zach?
However, I can never pronounce his Galifianakis or whatever it is.
Yeah, so
that was his character using an outdated reference
to make himself look
in a
bad.
movie from a decade ago.
Right.
So.
A movie from a decade ago on a reference from a decade or more before that.
Exactly.
Check yourself, don't wreck yourself. Anyway, so if you're not getting any at all, there's another problem. So you do need to integrate the personal touch with the person there.
Right.
And then if you're getting them already, then you could have gotten more. And a lot of this software will now do, and we're talking about a software that we use exclusively called Righteous Reviews. But a lot of the software will already like text and email them.
Right.
So somebody from your office.
Email is not a personal touch, by the way.
Yeah.
Email is second tier communication.
Yeah, it's still good to have it in there, but
you can have it in there, but it shouldn't be the only thing you rely on. Is what I mean.
No, and if somebody in the office once a day or once a week types in all your customers and puts their cell phone and email down and texts them and emails them, and this software, Righteous Reviews, will do that as well.
Right.
So now you've asked them and you've texted an email. Now, if you haven't gone forward to like text and email them, then you're really not doing a good enough job, right? Because it's really gotten important. Because we're looking to, this is all about a brand and topical authority and
you remember.
I'm trying to remember the other one. God, dang it, the new acronym.
You would ask me right now.
Something.
Authority and
trust.
trustworthiness. I can never remember what the E is.
Good Lord. It's a brand new acronym for the industry.
It's a search thing.
Like within like a few weeks.
And we were talking about it yesterday, and it's out of my head.
Anyway. It helps your overall brand and authority and trust with the search ranking and topical authority, which equals your organic keyword ranking, your map placement, and reviews all intertwined together. And so the better you can do this, the better off you'll be. Now, so you're the best in town. You've gotten good reviews. You've overcome basic stuff of asking people and getting 10 or 20% of them to give you a review. Somebody in the office calls them back and makes sure that the customer service was okay and hits them up again and enters them into a little program. But the little program's basic and simplistic and still doesn't only do that. So that sort of stuff is now old review technology.
I'm looking that up, by the way.
Oh, please do. It would have been okay. I wasn't upset by that at all. I should have been, but we're way past that point in society, aren't we? You can actually text people during a podcast,
and nobody even notices what's
going
going
on. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, I'm talking to my wife during the podcast. It's like, she's got issues at home, and I'm helping. Right.
Expertise. Thank you.
Expertise.
No, it was something like that.
Authority and trust.
Expertise, authority, and trustworthiness.
Okay, so let's dissect what Google can tell about a review.
Right.
So Google can tell that you went on and did all the dummy stuff that everybody else does, hopefully, right? A lot of people don't do this, but I'd like to have business in a 30-mile radius.
Right.
And they're like, another one.
Yes, that's the 80th one today.
We've got 1,000 service businesses in this area that would like the same.
That would like to show up in the Map 3-pack and in the first
Megatropolis and the whole thing, because I'm going to be king of the world,
right.
A golden god. And so please show me in the Pack 3, and Google's like, okay, whatever.
You and everybody else.
You and everybody else. Yeah. So then they get reviews, and you're like, oh, okay, well that's a little better. People actually like you.
Yeah.
Now Google doesn't know what they like you for except your general category, and this is where I really like the software, because they don't know that you're doing what type of exact specific service you're doing. So they just know the general category, not the specific service.
Yeah.
But there's tons of
the review is attached to just your business, not a specific action.
Yeah, not a specific service, not a specific material.
Right.
So far they cannot do that. So with Righteous Reviews is a reputation management software, and I hesitate to even call it that because it does go beyond the realm of that. Because, I want to bring in this. So when you get a template website that's poorly done with hardly any service pages or content about your services and no city pages,
right?
And then people attempt to say, "Hey, SEO it," and then smack on this review software is pretty good.
Right.
We're going to get this review software for $350 a month. Smack that onto it.
Yeah, just install the plugin and yeah, you're finished.
It's like having your 5-year-old apply lipstick to your wife. It's like, make it
accurate,
make it pretty. Yeah. So I don't know where that came from.
I don't want to know what happens at your house.
I don't know. I got something happened somewhere. I'm bringing it. But anyway, so there you are, and you're like, make it pretty.
Yeah.
And so you slap on your review software. Well, the review software was, for any of you car guys, was a retrofit, not an OEM, not an original part.
Right.
What would it stand for?
Original equipment manufacturer.
Another
thing we had to look up today.
So we would be like
we're experts.
We would be like the at least with the review integration, like the Apple product.
Right. Right.
All integrated with the hardware, software, all together, right?
Yeah. And all designed from the ground up to work together for maximum effect.
Good. I liked that a lot. That was very smooth.
Yeah.
So when it gets built like this, so if you slap on the review stuff to the crappy template that you have that nobody did content that nobody ever works on, which is what 98% of everybody has, 99%, then it's not integrated. So the software is hovering on top of it is a poor afterthought. Right.
And while it is better than nothing,
right,
it's not much better.
It's not much better because really all that can happen is that somebody in the office now, you have a receptionist that sits there and doesn't do enough in your opinion, and you have him or her make callbacks to your clients and enter their cell phone and emails. And you're like, I'm doing that part, I've done it. And you get
I've done everything I can
You get
do.
a few more reviews. But had the software been an original part inside, then all the short code would have been listed on the service pages and the city pages. And oops, if you had someone quality do it, they would have had a lot of service pages for all your different services so that you could have the chance to show up for the keyword and organic ranking and mapping. It expands the mapping amount to show up because they're not going to show you if you don't have page content for it. And then, so now you have a lot of service pages done well, properly, and you have city pages. And instead of having these sitting there with other people having stuff, not as good as what we would have produced, of course, because we can get that stuff to show up without somebody doing this.
Right.
But because it's better than the other person's city pages and service pages and other things going on. But now you have the original righteous reviews put in when it was built, in the short code is on all the service and city pages.
Right.
So there's little short code that goes in
it's
there.
putting your SEO effort on steroids.
It is putting your SEO, and we'll go in and we'll explain it further. This is a really good one, by the way. This is a good breakdown.
Yeah.
I'm pleased with myself so far.
That's
so far.
new.
Yeah, I will. So it's the short code's in there, and it's tied to the little web app interface widget. And you're sitting there in. I'm ashamed of my cover. It's turned nicotine yellow, but it still works.
He's had that as long as I've known him.
It works.
He did the same phone for 5 years.
It still works. It still works. I have to restart it every once in a while to get my voicemail messages, but it's okay. So you're in the driveway, and you're like, okay, and you got a little screen up. You're like, I'm at Bob and Susie's house. We've done this service in this city. Here's their cell phone and here's their email. That's it. Now here's what's going to happen and why it's so much cooler. The reason your software currently doesn't do this, by the way, before I go into actually what it does, is because, again, they didn't enter it in the first place. Why would the people who made the third-party software have basically the PC version of it, where it just gets slapped onto whatever deal they made?
Right.
I guess the difference is in a website being built and PC version getting Microsoft on it, Windows, is that there's quality control measures that are great.
Right.
The laptops work.
Yeah.
Right?
By the way, I like this Apple better.
Maybe not in his,
PC
I was about to
inferior
step back.
thing.
He's being nice by saying, yeah. He would at least agree that the quality controls of a PC is better than that of a website.
Well, yes.
Right, but but he would not agree that a PC is as good as a Mac.
Correct.
Okay, so all of you out there basically have really poor quality PCs.
For the most part, yeah.
That actually don't work, that wouldn't be able to be sold by a store.
This is a metaphor, not, by the way. He's not telling you the computer on your desk is a bad one.
Right.
Although if it's a PC, it is.
So you've got this thing that was horrible that now has this thing slapped on. Why wouldn't the person or the company who developed the software even talk about this? Because then all of a sudden you want to tie it into your service pages, which you have none almost.
Yeah.
And you want to tie it into your city pages, which you have none almost.
Right. And they don't want to make them for you.
And the people who made the less than quality website that is the template didn't put it up, can't make it, and don't want to make it.
Right.
So now all of a sudden, though, you have it. So it's an original parts integration. And then when you're sitting in the driveway and it takes like 60 seconds, Bob and Susie's home, here, it'll geo-tag the location and wrapped in schema code, and then within a 2-block radius, not the exact location, and drop the pin for the check-in on a map on your website and on the service page and on the city page.
Right.
When you click send, all of that happens, and the client receives a direct link to your Google, Facebook, Yelp reviews through text and email, which is the dummy version of it.
Right.
But now, even if they don't leave a review, you have a check-in on your service page and your city page.
Right.
So let's just speculate that you did 20 jobs in a month. All of a sudden, you have at least 40 touches to different pages in the website.
Yeah.
2 pages.
Content updates, schema updates with location and service schema.
Pictures.
Map pins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Google can come back, which they would roughly once a week, and say, shoot,
Wow, this site's active.
man,
This is relevant information.
This is
This is
active
where they
with-
do services
Not
and what
just-
services they do. And
Yeah.
yeah,
not just crap active, but like active. So
Yeah.
so we could throw
Active
like,
and relevant.
active, relevant, and trustworthy,
Right.
right?
Because that active the active site that's
schema.
relevant information is what leads to trustworthiness.
Right.
And then you add on. No, go ahead. I'll cut it in a
It's
second.
very difficult to simulate or fake a geo-wrapped schema code dropped on the website when you're sitting in someone's driveway.
Right.
Google it's actually called a check-in on schema code, right?
Yeah.
So for all you who are like, I get tired of hearing all this stuff, it's like 100 points of schema code. There's not many of them that we talk about that you can actually, feel the effect of or see the effect of.
Right.
But this one you'd actually be physically partaking in.
Yeah.
And
This is every time you do it, you add more of this highly relevant, highly sought after, and preferred information.
so imagine that 98% of your people out there have really horrific templates that never get worked on, all your competition. And then you one up them by going with somebody like us. But then all of a sudden we wrap in this completely, entrenched software on reputation management, which is all of a sudden, by the way, not only affecting additional reviews and map rankings and what was the EAT acronym? Topical authority.
Expertise, authority, and trust.
But it's also now affecting your organic effort of the website and making your city and service pages turbocharged compared to the other stagnant ones that everybody else in the market has.
Right.
And remember what I said earlier about Google not being able to tell really what service you're performing? Now the reviews that you have are tagged to the specific service you performed.
Right, and that's the really cool
That's
thing.
pretty
That's
bad.
what I pulled back to say.
Okay.
Is you've done the check-in and you've added this location information and this service information,
Right.
and then there's a review, 5-star review. These guys did a great job on my whatever it is, and all of a sudden Google has a positive review with a good rating with a location check-in specifically about
That
a
service.
very specific service.
So as far as we're aware, this does not exist anywhere else in the world.
Not to this degree.
To-
A couple people have little pieces of it, but nobody's tied it together this
Not
way.
service page check-in.
Yeah, not service page.
Not
check-in.
service page
Yeah.
check-in.
Yeah.
So there is other stuff that's got some similarities, which retails for over $300, I might add, which is included with all of our sites.
Right.
Included as part of it. And why do we include it instead of break it off? Because
It works better.
what would you buy on Mac and then they just decide to hobble and lop off a piece of it? Just hobble the operating system and go, oh wait, did you want it to work properly?
Well, that doesn't happen
You
on
didn't
Mac.
say that. We need more money for that.
Yeah.
It's like, so if you don't include some of this stuff, you just simply are not able to have a full web effort and be as competitive.
And the real answer is because our service is on a month-to-month arrangement. You're not on a term, and you can leave at any time. And we're trying to earn your business through results.
That
We do
makes sense.
everything we
It's
can to get
true.
you the
That's a
results.
really
So that's why we do it.
Yeah, it's a really good point. If we're month to month, which we are currently with all of our clients, and somebody, has all these, why would they leave us?
Right.
It's like they can't. This is really extremely. I was telling someone this the other day. I said, look, you don't have to use this software that we have. We're still going to get you up in ranking. But all of a sudden, if you start getting check-ins and you're getting 50 pieces of data change, and remember, you can even take a picture and it'll throw up on the city page as well.
Right.
That's unique photos going up. But you have all this stuff ahead of the competition, like really turbocharging the effort, and no one else have it. But I would tell you that since we have this, which has a little aspect or two that currently no one else does, and there's a few others that does something similar, but just a few. I'm guessing that like less than 0.5% of businesses use anything like this right now.
Yeah.
So if you go into your market right now and you begin to utilize this stuff, you've got this extreme advantage over your competition. But I would argue that within 5 years, everybody's going to be doing it. You'll have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, it'll trickle down, and
It'll
everybody will
trickle
do it.
down, and if you don't do it, you're not competitive. But right now, probably for the next 5 years, you're going to have a very big competitive advantage.
Yeah, you've got a window here to pull way ahead of the pack and have a nice lead.
More reviews, more topical authority, more activity over a longer course of time, really going to be difficult to knock you off your perch.
Right.
The whole idea here is to do more stuff so that you get better ranking, and we're here to most of the stuff that we do internally, we can do better than the client. There's a few things we can't do, and we're working on some of those too through this. Yeah, right. Yeah,
yeah, we got it. It's not ready yet, but we have another thing we're going to be talking about.
We're not talking about it yet. But yeah, we can't get the review for you, but we can make you so much stronger than your competition by providing you these tools. And these tools are used. It's like
we can provide you with a tool to help you get the review, and then on the back end, we can supercharge that review and get a lot more out of it than just 5 stars on a GMB page.
Yeah, it takes that review and just compounds the effort. Boom, boom, hitting all these different spots. I mean, it's just really fantastic. So
you may have noticed, because we keep talking about this. I think we've done a podcast about this like every week for the past few weeks. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, it really is ridiculous what they can have happen. I mean, I'll repeat a couple things. If you have city pages are not against algorithmic rules. In fact, they still show up all the time.
Yeah.
I think Google would tell you that if you had a 50-page website and 40 pages are city pages, that's probably bad, because you have this self-serving city pages that are just so that the owner can get more clicks.
Right.
The website's supposed to be built so that users have a good experience, your potential clients. Makes the web a better place. That's the websites Google wants to show. But if you say have like a 30-page website and 15 pages are city pages, and you have 15 great pages of services, that's much better. But then the city pages sit there, and a lot of your competition have done city pages as well.
Right. Probably all of them.
But they haven't. No, not all of them, but maybe 20% of them.
That's pretty common.
That had, well, it's going to be less than 10% because most people never actually pay for quality web services.
Well, yeah, I'm just assuming people have it. Of the ones that have a good website, they'll have city pages.
I'll say this to everybody right now. Here, I'm going to do this as another podcast.
Okay.
How many people actually pay for web services? So, how many of my competitors? This is a whole pay for web services. So guys, because you think about marketing, you think that everybody's paying for this stuff. You think that people are doing this. I can tell you after doing this for 10 years that almost none of your competition makes a concerted effort to pay regularly for web services. You agree with that, right?
Right.
So I'm talking less than 5% of your local competition is doing this. So if you ever tried to, and it doesn't matter if you got messed around or not, but if you've tried to, because most of you are going to get messed around because most web companies don't do quality work like we do, right? But if you're trying to market, you're in like the top 1 out of 20, 1 out of 10 at the lowest, right? So to get up in ranking doesn't take the effort that everybody thinks it does. You do have to focus on it to become the topical authority and be relevant and to have all this stuff going. But you're in a far different crowd once you just start trying. Most people and business owners are skeptical and cheap and right?
Yeah, or just
choose to stay ignorant towards this stuff.
Yeah.
Listen to rhetoric and old wives' tales,
or listen, or look at the wrong metrics.
Yeah.
They latch on to a particular metric and think that's the end all be all. There
is
no end all
be all
of
all of us. Of all of us men.
Well, I know this thing, and that's the most important thing.
I went to my kid's bass tournament and bought a banner. We know this because somebody asked for artwork to buy a banner for their kid's bass tournament.
Really?
Yeah, we do. I know who it is. I remember who it was. So,
I remember who you're talking about.
So this is a client that didn't have anything. Now, granted, this is a smart client. Why?
They signed up with us,
and they're still with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they start making money, they start spending money on auxiliary stuff. A thing that a man touches with his own 2 hands, he thinks that that had a major impact on his marketing.
Because it was his thing.
Something he touched, something he did. I had one recently.
Which
did a direct mail piece.
Oh.
These parts are funny to us. It's mainly through shared pain, right?
Yeah.
What's a psychological word for us? Like, I think we're like, this is therapy for Jason and I.
Yeah, getting to sit here and whine about it.
Right.
We're so old. People are so stupid.
No, but that guy had gotten hundreds and hundreds of clicks. Remember all that stuff? Like, it was booming. But he had gone and done direct mail distribution, which is crazy. Have any of you guys walked inside a post office lately? Like, I think my potential for like killing myself goes up just for walking in the door. You know, like I feel like it's like, what does it all mean? You know, like, and worse yet, have you walked into the bulk mail center?
Oh
recently?
my gosh.
Have you been into a bulk mail center?
Well, last year.
Oh. Don't talk about that. We did a distribution.
We gave it a shot. We had gotten some information that direct mail was kind of
possibly
making
on a comeback, and we're marketers by trade.
Yeah, so we're like, you know what? Okay, we'll do a limited run. We'll see what happens. Let me tell you, nothing happened.
Yeah, so
it was the most spectacular failure we have ever
if only
experienced.
0.00% respond.
Yeah, we only need this for this to pay for itself.
It's inconceivable
that no one will call. Yeah, I don't think you know what that word means. It was a Princess Bride moment right there.
Princess Bride. Yeah.
Because zip. A response rate of precisely zero.
So we had a client actually. So people don't buy marketing for a lot of reasons, but to get up in ranking online is completely logical, completely within your ability to grasp it and understand it, and tell where the leads come from. Most of our hundreds of clients pay happily and are great clients to have. But when we lose one that we knock it out of the park for that didn't understand all of it, it's very frustrating.
It's yes.
Because they didn't understand it. And it normally relates back to them touching some other piece of marketing and think they had something to do with it.
Yeah. That's often the thing. Yeah. Or they get a phone call from someone who talks slick.
Yeah. My main point here, though, was that it is not as difficult as people think to get up in ranking because people don't fight for it well enough. And this...
You got to do the work. It's not that it's easy.
We do most of the work. We do the heavy lifting. But if you used righteous reviews, the advantage that you have is just ridiculous.
Yeah. If you let us do our part and you take what we give you here and do your end of it, which is very little, boom.
You know, I used to...
synergy.
I used to... we used to tell people back when we first started the business, like 9 years ago, hey, blog, please. Oh, okay, I'll blog. And I'm pretty sure it was 0 out of hundreds of clients. So we started blogging for people, and we did that. What's weird about reviews is that the average business person likes a review, and because they can't see the tangible benefits of a blog, but it would have helped, but it's not directly in their face. But when you get a review, the 5 stars shows up. It's like, it's like a slot machine. You're getting rewarded from time to time. You can visually see it, and business owners have rallied behind reviews.
Yeah.
So you guys will actually do this because it's a direct correlation benefit deal that people see. And I'm pretty comfortable.
I finally found something you lazy bastards will do.
I didn't say that. It's natural. It's a natural human thing. Why would someone continue? It's illogical to continue to do something
when you don't see benefit.
When you don't see benefit. Yeah. So, I mean, that is a lot of the frustration that comes from, a client's interaction with a web company.
Right.
Most of the time, they're literally not doing any work. In our case, we do tons of things, but you can tell. You can tell by looking at our stuff that we do better work. You can tell by listening to us. We know what we're talking about. When you get a design set up, you can tell that it's done better than anything you've ever had before.
Right.
But anyway, this is the most badass stuff there is.
It's amazing.
This is the best thing going right now, and by far, because this checks every single box that the search engine is looking for.
Right.
All of them are checked at one time, right? If it's built in as an original part and integrated properly.
Yeah.
It checks literally every single box.
It's keyword relevant. It's original content, both pictures and text. It's structured data, geodata, service data, schema, all that stuff, plus reviews.
Regular changes.
Regular updates.
Pictures. It's like, he probably said all that, but it does more changes on a regular basis than anything you could possibly do that's so unique currently.
Right.
And even the ones that I don't always like we have a tab that says reviews too, and it pulls all the tabs in. And all we're doing is pulling the reviews in through a main tab in the website. And for several years, that looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I still like
it. And it can be nice to have that and just see a huge block.
It's still nice to have it because if somebody's on there, it's going to increase conversion.
Right.
But as far as the algorithm seeing it 3 years later is fairly ordinary looking.
Right. Yeah.
But when these reviews get delineated like this and go up on everything, I don't see personally, especially if you add a photo to it, how is a check-in and the actual review for the actual service and photos and all that ever going to look ordinary?
Right.
You know, how's that going to be not a good staple to have as something? I just don't see how. I mean, to me, we still blog, and I think that needs to be done forever, but this is just, seems,
Yeah. No. I mean, this is
it's superior, right?
Yeah. This has a much. Every piece of what we do helps. Some pieces help more than others, and this one thing does more by itself than any other single thing we can add to the site.
Yeah, it does.
This is that EAT, expertise, authority, trust. This takes when we build the site, what we've created is the expertise and the authority, because that's what's put on the website.
Right.
The trust is that last part, and the reviews are a big part of that. That's what really gives you the T in EAT.
And I'm thrilled now that we have the ability to be part of that with the client relationship.
Right.
Because it entrenches us with that client relationship, which is great for both of us, really. You know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I am spent on this one.
I think we're done.
Call us. See ya.
See ya.